Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Michelle's vlog. And we ran a lot of band and chain variations this week for pretty much all of our classic lifts. So both the max effort work and the dynamic effort work, we ran either bands or chains. So she ran light bands. She's still learning how to set up bands. I know people will be like, what happened? That hit the thing there. It's like, yeah, I know. Plus, she's learning how to use them. She hasn't fully measured the band tension, so we're just going with things like light band, light chain so far, and that's probably 30 pounds of band. I'm gonna assume most likely about 30 pounds with that setup, give or take. Could be a little less, but she got 135. Again, and she's a closed grip bencher, so we're going to keep hammering her triceps harder and harder. We're going to keep working on those, but afterwards, I have her do floor pressing. Right, so we do the floor press immediately after that for her max effort work. Then we do neutral grip pull-ups, dumbbell rows, plate front raises, and then tricep band press downs. And what I want to do with her on that right now, I want to really work on building those tricep tendons. I want to get them healthy. You guys have seen me do this myself. You've seen me do it with other clients. So in her case, we're going to do 5 sets of those every workout. I want to really hammer those tendons, right? I want to build those tendons up to get her bench up because of, again, her shoulder stuff. And you can't always see it maybe on the clips, but if you look, you can see she's got a pretty good scar on her shoulder, and she's admitted she doesn't mind, discussing some of her medical stuff because she said it publicly already. So she's got a pacemaker. And so because of that surgery has made it difficult for her to bench with a wider grip. So we do closed grip benching. But the thing is, we're going to get her to a 200 plus pound raw bench, even closed grip. It's going to happen. Again, because she's got the potential to do it. But the main thing we're going to have to do is get those triceps and front delts built up. That's going to be the key to doing that. Just like for me, compare it to what you guys see me do with my own training. How I gotten my bench up doing exactly that. Because again, I don't handle wide grip well. I am always stronger at closed grip no matter what I do. So, in my case, when I want my closed grip to go up, we just really focus on delts and we focus on triceps, and that seems to do the job. And in her case, we need to prepare her to do the exact same thing, and that means we need to have some phases where we really work on those tendons. We work on that elbow health, even if we use just lots of closed grip and floor pressing, because eventually, because she does it all closed grip, it's going to become a little bit of a problem eventually. So we do a couple of different angles for back, right? We do a couple of different angles for back. She does those neutral grip pull-ups, and then we do the one-arm dumbbell rows. Now, because we do pretty high volumes of these things, we're not worried about biceps, right? She does high volumes of these things. It's building the brachialis, the bicep, the radial brachialis, particularly using that hammer grip. We're in a good position. So some people say, well, why tricep work and no bicep? She's not going to need it. Right? She's not going to need it. Now, we did have some issues at first there with getting those bands the way that I wanted them perfect. She was messaging me from the gym while she's doing that, so then she adjusted those. She got the dumbbells further out so that we get some more tension, and she did 225 against the bands. Now, this is the interesting thing with her. People are going to be like, shouldn't she be a little stronger on this, with, given what her back squat is? And the answer is, against bands, not necessarily, and here's why. She is strong, but she's slow, and that's as I've said before, and other people have noticed it, and I've told her the same thing. We've got to get her faster. And so when we do a lot of these lifts against bands, you have to be able to outrun the bands. And if you can't outrun the bands, you're not going to go heavier than your straight weight. So in other words, if you're running 50 pounds of bands and your max is 350, you may not be able to get over about 300 if you can't lift fast. Even though at the bottom it should be less at the point of greatest mechanical tension. So again, bands tell us a lot about our strength curve. And what we're seeing with the bands is that it displays exactly what we see with her already. She's strong, but she's not fast. We've got to focus on getting her faster. And it's stuff that we're working on. Now, the sumo went real good, 275 with I believe 38 pounds of chains. And she was shocked because she's like, the most I've been able to sumo was just 255. That's the most I've sumo deadlifted not that long ago. And you've already got me doing 275 plus all those chains. It's like, yep. And with those chains on it, we're up past 300 at the top. All right, up past 300 at the top. But that's also, again, tends to be hamstring up there. So usually your sumo lockouts tend to be limited by your hamstring strength. We've been working her hamstrings. We know that's a weak link. We know that she needs more hamstring for all her deadlifting. We know that her adductors are the weak link in her squatting. And then obviously we need to work on glutes and stuff in general. Now, we don't spend a lot of time worried about her quads because we're speed squatting, we're speed pulling, and then we do the leg press once a week. Covers everything we need. So I'm a lot more concerned with posterior chain and adductors, just in general for her lower body lifts, and that's where we put the focus. So every single lower body workout, you're going to see glute ham raises, you're going to see reverse hypers. Okay, so where is our focus then? Where do we want to put our focus for Michelle? Triceps, hamstrings, adductors. Okay, it's going to be the name of the game for her. These are what limit her, and it doesn't mean we don't build the other muscles. It's just that we put a slight emphasis here. Okay, and I want to make that very, very clear. People will hear that and say, "Oh, does that mean we don't do any hypertrophy for anything else?" No, we want to stimulate good hypertrophy for everything else. We just want to make sure these weak links get maximized. Doesn't mean that we neglect the other muscles. All right. And I've already had someone tell me that since I've been working with her, she already looks like she's gained muscle. She's recomped or something. It's like, no, I don't think she's really recomped. She's just gained muscle. So this is her first time doing speed work with chains. Again, a bit of a learning curve. But notice that bench is faster now. Right? We're seeing improvements on that bench speed. We're seeing improvements there. So what do we do after that? Again, she does dumbbell presses, right? And notice that we do these with a neutral grip. Again, we're dealing with that shoulder. So we do these with a neutral grip, which again is what I want to see. I want to see them done with a neutral grip here. And again, I may need to add some dumbbells back in for my own. Right now, I'm not as worried about it, but definitely for her, just like we kind of saw with Mike yesterday, we look at his dynamic days and what do you guys see us doing? A lot of dumbbell flat pressing, a lot of dumbbell overhead pressing, a lot of upper back, middle back. It's what we do on his dynamic day. So you'll see with Michelle, again, we do the pull-ups, we do rows, but then we're doing quite a bit of dumbbell work here. But in her case, I'm doing the front raises instead of dumbbell overhead. And that's just for a while. We may rotate that over. All right, particularly as we build her tricep work capacity with the bands, right? Particularly as we build that up, because then we're doing more and more pressing for some of these things. But this is really a lot of pec work for her still, because we're doing the dumbbell work, we're doing the front raises. A lot of people don't seem to be aware, though, the front raise is actually a chest exercise too. We think of it as a front delt, upper trap, all of that, but it absolutely works the pecs. And the EMG data shows it, biomechanics show it. The pectorals are still a primary mover on this exercise, right? So that's one reason it's such a good bench assistance. Although we could argue maybe it's a better bench assistance for those who don't have tricep weakness, because we're not doing additional tricep work there. But, we have to do stuff where we spend some time building that up. Now, her box squats, her speed boxes, I'm not happy with, by the way. And she knows that. I want her to work on that speed. This is where we need to build that explosiveness. Okay, even with the chains, even running the percentages we're running, notice her speed bench was fast. Her speed pulls are improving. Those speed boxes are still slow. When we saw her max work, right? Look at this, that's way faster. Speed pulls are faster. When we look at her max effort work, And you saw even with light bands, 225 was a little slow for her. See where we're at? We've got to work on that power. We need to work on that speed strength for her squats. This is a weakness for her. But also notice if you guys saw her last meet footage, right? There's some weak links in that kinetic chain for her max squats that we're working on. And as we build that up, we build those adductors up. We build her glutes up. We teach her to drive out of the bottom and to use that hip extension to power it. Okay, her squat's going to go up. It's going to go up a lot. So here we're doing good mornings, safety bar good mornings, one of my go-to exercises, something I prescribe to a lot of clients. I'm a big fan of this movement. Also a big fan of cambered bar for good mornings. So we're working them in on this day instead of leg pressing. Why? Posterior chain. Okay, we need her hamstrings bigger. We need her back bigger. Right now, that's a higher priority than quads. Not that her quads don't get worked on this day. Do the good mornings work quads? Of course they do. But she does a lot of sled dragging. In fact, Michelle does so much sled dragging, I would venture to say that if I pulled the leg presses out completely, it's not going to hurt her squat one bit. She does sled drags 5 to 6 days a week. Okay, that's what we do for conditioning. But again, here we have, this is looking very, very much like my training, actually. I'm going to laugh. Anyone who watched my training this week is going to be like, that looks a whole lot like your dynamic lower day. Yeah, it looks a lot like it. Glute ham raise, reverse hyper, safety bar, good morning, hanging leg raises, right? She does her reverse hypers here, which again, she's getting used to this machine. And then we finish up with some toe to bars. Again, she's got a phenomenally strong core. And watch these toe to bars. Watch this. Her core is extremely strong. We're in a good spot here. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.